Yes, I know, my hair's a little fucked up. You can see, I was wearing my hat backwards for my Clerks review and now my hair's all fucked up. Can we just ignore and talk about some lesbians? Chasing Amy. After Kevin Smith made Mallrats, people were kind of like, oh, he made Clerks and that was so good, and then he made Mallrats and it wasn't as good, was it? And so people were kind of disappointed. He's like, oh yeah, here's Chasing Amy, and people were like, we're back on the Kevin Smith bandwagon, we love it. It stars Joey Lauren Adams, Ben Affleck, Jason Lee, and Jay and Silent Bob. Ben Affleck and Jason Lee are Holden McNeil and Banksy, and they're two comic book creators who created Bluntman and Chronic based off Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Basically them as superheroes, which is awesome. So they're two comic book dudes, and at a convention, Ben Affleck's character meets Joey Lauren Adams' character and falls in love with her, but then he finds out she's a lesbian, but he can't help it, he wants her, he wants her. He doesn't care if she's a lesbian. He's gonna turn her straight, because you know, as Banksy said, that's all any woman needs, be it mother, senator, or none, is some serious deep dicking. So this movie, as with all Kevin Smith movies, you get some great memorable moments. One of the ones in this one, I forget the actor's name. He plays basically the Malcolm X type comic book guy who writes very pro-black comic books that just hates white people, and he has this theory about why Star Wars is racist. He also talks about how Archie is gay and so is Jughead, and that makes me question things, because when I was younger I read a lot of Archie comics and I actually was obsessed with Jughead, trying to be him, wearing a crown like he did. I questioned everything I did. And that's not a joke either, that's true, okay? So Kevin Smith turned a small chunk of my childhood, made me think back to it like, what the fuck's wrong with me? And this movie, this was always one that the first time I watched it, I was kind of like, yeah, that was pretty good, but to me it wasn't that memorable, and I watched it the second time around and appreciated it much more for what it was. I really do enjoy it. I love all the comic book stuff in general just because it's cool. And the Ben Affleck, Joey Lauren Adams chemistry together, they're pretty nice. She's a lot of fun. She was in Mallrats in a smaller supporting role where you saw her boobs, and then this one, I don't know if you do or not. That's not important, but I felt like mentioning it anyway. And I think they're very sweet together, and also very sweet together, Jason Lee and Ben Affleck. They're very good as friends. I like them together. And that comes to a head in a later scene where something happens with all three characters. And spoiler alert for like 10 seconds, okay? Right here, when this goes away, it's safe. I like all the Ben Affleck's chemistry with both Jason Lee and Joey Lauren Adams, so when he proposes a threesome later in the movie, it's like, maybe I'm messed up in the head because I thought it would make sense, but I was like, yeah, you know, that could work, but Banksy was too straight that I kind of felt like, oh, I wouldn't do it, but I almost felt like that was actually a sensible solution, even though most people would be like, no, that was a terrible solution. He was an idiot for thinking that would work. So I am kind of, I don't know what's wrong with me. Some of Kevin Smith's deeper, more thoughtful, introspective writing, and I like that. It had some interesting themes to it. The direction and writing, as usual, is very sharp and witty and good. And the actual resolution to the movie I liked a lot. I thought it really worked, and it also leads into a good joke in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, so it almost works double as good. And the performances, Jason Lee, I liked him as Brody, I like him again as Banksy, even though in this one he is homophobic. He hates them pretty much. He almost reminds me of Cartman. You guys are fags! He's very anti-gay. Some of it's very entertaining at times with some of the shit he comes up with. And this was the first main collaboration with Kevin Smith and Ben Affleck. You know, Ben Affleck had a small role in Mallrats, but then he was in a starring role in this. He had a starring role in Dogma. He worked with him again in Jersey Girl. They'd collaborate again on a certain level on Daredevil. That's really awesome to think. Kevin Smith and Ben Affleck were like best buds, and Kevin Smith loves Batman. Now his best friend is Batman. That is fucking awesome. Chasing Amy is a very entertaining movie, thoughtful and has good themes, like I said. Still doesn't live up to Clerks, it doesn't have to though, but to me just not as entertaining actually as the past two, even though I really like them a lot. I would give Chasing Amy a B+. I know that's what I give Mallrats, but Mallrats B+ would be a little bit above Chasing Amy's B+. That's just me. So comment below, tell me what you think of Chasing Amy, if you've seen it. If not, definitely check it out, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later when I review Dogma.